Okay, today we're in part 2 of our midterm review. Not yet. Okay, so what is the value that's going to be in my scientific notation on the first one?
Negative.
Nope. 4.0, or just 4, okay, times 10 to the negative fifth power. No, fifth power. Because I go 4 zeros and then one more to get behind the 4. All right, so 10 to the negative fifth power.
Well, I changed it. First I put 0.1.
No, that's wrong. It should be 4.0. Who got that one right? Got that one right. Okay. All right. Now on the second one, what's going to be my decimal value? 3.12 times 10 to the 369 to the 9th power. All right. Now the next one, what's my decimal value?
Negative 6.
7.8 times 10 to the negative 3.6 to the negative 6th power. All right, who got all three of those? All three? Good. So now the next slide, I'm going the other way. I'm writing the number in standard form. Okay, so how many zeros would I need to add after 823?
6.
Yep, so there's 2 decimal places, so I need 6 more zeros. 4, 5, 6. And then don't forget to go back and put in your commas, so you'll lose a point on your midterm if you forget to do that. All right, now on 4, 3, 6, 7, how many zeros would you need?
2.
Only 2 more zeros. All right, so that one's done. Okay, now the last one is a negative exponent, so it goes before the numbers start, so I can only count one of the decimal places, and then I need how many more zeros? 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. All right, who got all 3 of those right? Okay, good job. So standard form. All right, now we're into chapter 5, find the sum or the difference. Remember, with adding and subtracting, you have to have an LCD, okay? That's probably one of the most important parts of this concept. You've got to have that LCD before you can add or subtract. If it's a mixed number, go ahead and change it to an improper fraction before you solve. All right, so what's my LCD on the first one?
28.
28, so I get negative... and then 28 minus 28. What's my new numerator for the first one? I go from 4 to 28, so 3 times 7 is 21. And then 7 to 28 multiplied by 4, so 2 times 4 is 8. Now, all right, so on the test, this is where we saw a mistake happen often. You forget that these are both negative. So negative 21 minus 8 is what? Negative 29 over 28. All right, now that cannot be my final answer. That's only half credit. It's negative 1 and 1 over 28.
I got it right.
So what if you put 1 and negative 1 over 28?
The negative, that's a good question. The negative needs to be out in front of the whole number. On a midterm where there's only 2 points possible, I might just kind of overlook that. But I definitely need to see that. Now, I have seen, like, let's say there was a variable involved, like they're trying to put the x here after the whole number. That definitely can't be. So I would take off for that. It would either need to be here in the numerator, or if it belonged in the denominator, leave it there, or I'd probably accept after the fraction. But if you write it after the whole number, I would take off points for that.
Last time, like someone, I think it was, they put the variable
Yeah.
the whole number.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking of doing a problem, I thought about
Yeah.
the conversation, but with a negative.
Oh,
so I made sure
yeah.
I put the negative with the 1.
Oh, I got you. I got you. So no, the negative will go out in front of the entire fraction. All right, so now on the next one, we already have an LCD, which is nice, but we do want to convert to improper fractions. Minus 41 over 15. What's negative 67 minus 41? Negative 108 over 15. And now we just do a simple conversion to convert it back to a mixed number. Get negative 7 and 3/5, 15ths.
Oh,
And then that reduces again. Very good. Negative 7 and 1/5.
What would happen if you just reduced like the 108 to 15?
Okay, it's fine. So if he asked, well, what if we skip this step? that would be fine. But I do need to see improper fraction conversion here. And then this answer, and then convert it back. So there's still work to show. Again, these are problems that you can do on your calculator. So without any work shown, there's no way for me to know that you actually did the work. So showing work on these is really, really important. All right, so now let's find the product or quotient. Don't forget with quotient what you have to do before you can actually cross-reduce or anything. And go ahead and solve these two. Again, remember, if there's cross-reducing involved, you really need to show that. You have to show the reducing part of it. That's kind of your proof that you actually did the work. Okay, so we need to cross-reduce 3 and 18 to 1 and 6, and then it's 5 over 42. Okay, so the cross-reducing is really important because that's basically the only work to show. Now, if you don't cross-reduce and you got 15 over whatever 7 times 18 is, then you would have to show that you reduce after that. All right, now 5 over 16 divided by 35 over 48. What do we have to do before we can cross-reduce? You gotta flip it. 48 over 35, KFC, keep flip change. 5 and 35 reduces to 1 and 7, 1 and 3, and my answer is 3/7. Positive or negative? Positive, of course. Both of them were positive to begin with. All right, now the next thing we need to cover is clearing fractions and decimals. If you remember from back when we learned this lesson, you clear a fraction using the LCD, and you clear the decimal using the number that's the farthest decimal place out. So if it goes out, one of the numbers goes out to the hundredths, you multiply by 100. If it goes out to the thousandths, you multiply by 1,000. Go ahead and solve these two. Okay, what's my LCD? What's my LCD for the first one? 12. So what I did was I rewrote the equation multiplying each term by 12. So you can see, I just wanted to see it more spread out. So this was my first term, 1/4 x times 12. Like I just rewrote it. This is my second term, 1/6 times 12, and then this is my term after the equal sign, -5 over 12 times 12. You see what I did there? Okay, so now I can just make my cross reduce, and then 3 times x is just 3x. 1 times 2 is just 2. And then 12's cancel, so it's -5. All right, who got that equation? 3x plus 2 equals -5. Okay, so now subtract 2 both sides. 3x equals -7. Divide by 3. And improper or mixed, I probably wouldn't take off on your midterm if you left it improper, because literally you did all that work, and it's only 2 points. So you do all that work, either answer would be okay, but I do prefer a mixed number. All right, now on the second one, what would I multiply each term by? 10, 100, 1,000? What do you think? 100. Why 100? Because of 27.62, right? If I multiply by 10, then I'm not going to get rid of that decimal. So I have to multiply, and if I have to multiply the first one by 100, I have to do the same thing to all the other terms in order to keep the equation basically the same. All right, if I change those numbers up, then I'm going to change my answer. So now that I multiply each term by 100, I get 2762 equals 340x minus 570. So what do I do next? Add 570. Stop. And then you get 3332 equals 340x. Divide both sides by 340. And x equals 9.8. Anybody get 9.8? Okay, or maybe on track to get that answer. All right, so very good. All right, so that's solving equations by clearing the decimals and fractions. The last concept you're going to have on your midterm is proportions. This method is, or this concept is the most recently learned concept. All right, solving proportions using, what are my two methods?
Cross products,
Yep, cross products and equivalent ratios. Equivalent ratios, I find my missing link. Cross products, I just multiply diagonally. Cross products, you can do for all of them. So if you just kind of want to use your safe method, it would be cross products. The second one, you for sure have to use cross products. The first one, you could use either. So go ahead and solve these proportions using either method. All right, so on the first one, we can do a missing link, which is 4. All right, missing link is a little easier when it works out. W equals 32. If you did cross products, you should have still got the same answer. Okay, did anybody do cross products? Did you get 32? Okay, so perfect. All right, doesn't matter. All right, now on the second one, we have 3.8s because remember we multiply the terms diagonal. Equals, what's 95 times 5.7? 541 point what? 0.5. Okay, so then I divide both sides by 3.8. 3.8. And S equals? It's 0.5 again? 142.5. All right, so on this section on your midterm, you really can use either method, totally fine, solving proportions. And if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for your midterm exam.